Hey, family, welcome back for another episode of Lunchbreak Chronicles Podcast. I am your host, Ayesha Morgan, and I am excited. Yes, the word is excited. I am excited that you guys are here with me for another episode of Lunchbreak Chronicles Podcast. I'm terribly excited. I'm excited for a couple of different reasons. Number one, because you all are here. If you are new to our channel, welcome, welcome, welcome to our channel. Welcome to our podcast. I am going to ask that you would do me a real quick favor, that you like this video. If in fact this video resonates with you, if the content resonates with you, if you feel like, hey, this truly, truly blessed me and encouraged me, give us a thumbs up, give us a like. I'm going to ask that you also subscribe to our channel. We are trying to get our subscriber numbers up, only because we really do believe in this content. We really do believe in this information, and we do pray that the Most High will allow us to put this information out, and that it will be a blessing to those who need it. And so we do ask that you would subscribe to our channel, that you would like the video, that you would share it with someone that you believe that it could be a blessing to and it can help, and then that you leave us a comment. Let us know how you guys feel about this content. Let us know how you feel about the topic there in the comments. It goes down in the comments, right? It hasn't gone down in our comments pretty much. We are grateful for those of you who are leaving us some really, really wonderful feedback. But I'm going to encourage you that if you're listening to this episode, if you subscribe to this channel and you've been following along with us here, we ask that you definitely get involved in the comments. Let us know what you're thinking. Let us know how you feel, and share with us how this content is resonating with you. All right. All right. Another reason why we're really excited is because I have some really exciting news that I want to share with you all. And I'm going to share and make this announcement at the end of this episode. So I need y'all to hang in here with me. I need you to hang in here with me until the end of this episode, so that you could join in with us as we share this wonderful, wonderful news. Okay? All right. Thank you guys so much. All right, let's dive in. So today we are back for part two of The Fixer. The last episode, I hope you all really enjoyed that last episode. I've been getting some positive feedback about the episode, and how it has truly encouraged those that have listened to it and have watched the video. And so, as promised, I am back for part two of The Fixer. In the first episode, what we talked about were about maybe 10 characteristics of the fixer. And I really wanted to point that out because, number one, I think I mentioned in the last episode that I too, at one point in my life in the past, realized that, hey, hey, I'm a fixer, right? And that fixer, while it has some good stuff that comes along with that, right? Um, it wasn't really good in my life, right? The way in which I was becoming the fixer in relationships, the way I managed and operated in that role wasn't really healthy for me, right? For me. And so, as God began to reveal that to me, and I began to learn more about the fixer role and how I was operating and how it was affecting me in my life, I began to learn more about it. I began to educate myself about it. And of course, in my therapy practice, that is one of the things that we talk about whenever we discover that someone is in that role. We begin to point out those characteristics. We begin to point out how it impacts their life and their relationships, and then we work on strategies to be able to change that, right? To be able to deal with that, so that a person can have healthy relationships, right? So the person can be healthy and can be whole. So we talked about those characteristics in the previous episode, and what I like to do today is focus on just some strategies and some extra points to help us to be able to get through and to do better. So first of all, what we determined is that the fixer role, a lot of people find themselves in that role simply because they care a whole lot, right? Your desire to help others, to support others, those that you love and that you care about, is rooted in just that. It's rooted in love, it's rooted in compassion, and it's rooted in empathy. And sometimes it's hard to see your family, your friends, your loved ones, right, walk through difficult and hard things. It's hard to see them um, have problems and issues in their lives that they don't seem to know how to get through and to get out of. And it's easy really for you being that one who loves them, who supports them, who cares for them, and maybe have the skills and the ability to solve that issue. It's really easy to see yourself as a part of that process, right? But what we're learning, that it's important to understand that with this role that there are limitations in how you address and deal with the problems and the struggles, I'm sorry, that belong to other people, right? And you can better navigate helping in these situations by doing a couple of different things. And so today, in your humanness, right, we cannot fix other people's problems or struggles, right? We have to know that. We have to know how, by us having our hands in the mix, right? How that hinders, and we're going to talk about that, right? So I hope that you have your journals. I hope that you have your pen and your notepad, whatever method that you use, your iPad, whatever methods that you're using for taking notes while you're listening to or watching this podcast episode. I hope that you are ready. Okay, so let's talk about a couple of things that I believe could be helpful if you're wanting to say, Ayesha, how do I get out of this fixer role? How do I, you know, cut off the things that are hindering me or hindering the people that I want to help fix so bad, right? What are some things that I need to be aware of? Okay? So the first thing I'm going to say is listening really is really important. How we listen is really important, and as we know, sometimes we don't listen well, right? We don't listen well. In our eagerness to help, a lot of times we jump in full throttle. We jump in, boots all the way up above our knees, right? Ready to jump in and fix. But a lot of times we don't really hear. We don't really listen to the fullness of really what's going on, right? It's important that even when we're desiring to help, that we listen, and that we listen actively, right? Actively. Sometimes all a person really needs is for you to listen with a listening ear and an empathetic heart, right? Sometimes people don't really need, and let's be honest, sometimes they're not really asking for you to help, right? They just maybe want to vent or just may be making a cry or a plea, right? But sometimes they don't want you to jump in there and fix it. They just want you to hear them, right? So I would say the first thing is to listen as your first response. Listen, refrain from imposing upon someone what you think, what you feel, your own stories, right? And your own ideas, right? But instead, focus on listening so that you can create a safe space where a person can feel heard, where they can feel valued, and honestly, where they can start to possibly look for the solution themselves, right? We got to learn how to slow down and pull it back sometimes. And let's start by listening. Okay, Proverbs 18 and 13 reminds us that instead, let's practice being quick to listen and slow to speak, right? Recognizing that the most important thing that we can really do in those situations is to offer our undivided attention and encouragement, right? We have to be slow, quick to listen. I get that confused a lot. Quick to listen and slow to speak. All right. The next thing is realizing, yeah, you have limitations. While all of your intentions are good, they are genuine, it's important to recognize that you cannot always fix someone else's problems or struggles, right? You have to avoid coming across as being judgmental or condescending or assuming that, hey, you have all the answers, right? That you come loaded with a bag of solutions, right, to fix that other person's problems. You have to also realize that there are some things that you just can't do, right? There are some things that you may not be able to do. What are you saying, Ayesha? You mean that there are some things that the fixer can't fix? Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. There are some things that you just won't be able to fix, right? Instead of attempting to fix another person, we have to really acknowledge and look at our own areas of growth and challenges that we have to navigate, right? Matthew 7 and 3 warns us against focusing on the speck in our brother's eye while ignoring the plank in our own. We talked about that a lot in the last episode, right? And that was really, really, really good, right? Sometimes we have to focus inward, right? We have to be self aware, right? And it's important that before we're reaching over the table to be quick to fix somebody else's stuff, that we actually have to take a look at our own, right? Take a look at our own self, right? All right. We good? We're good? Okay. What about number three? Number three, we have to also realize that the situation very well may be complex, right? Each person has their own issues and their own stuff that they're dealing with. And there's stuff that they're dealing with and going through may be complex, right? It very rarely is it a simple thing, right? And quite honestly, there is not a one size fits all solution to some of these problems. But when you jump in with your bag of stuff, right? Because you know how to fix. When you jump in full throttle like that, we have to realize, hey, that this may be a situation that is more complex than we even signed up for. So you have to be careful. The only person who knows all of the details about the situations that they may face is the person who's dealing with it, and God, of course. Right? So we have to make sure that we realize that the person who's best equipped to handle the stuff that they're dealing with is that person, right? Is that person. Is that person. Rather than providing quick fixes, you can be curious and maybe change it up, maybe ask thoughtful questions, maybe questions that would provoke that person into thinking about ways in which they can come up with a solution to their own problems instead of running to give a solution yourself. Sometimes it's good to pose it in a way that makes that person think about their own issue. A lot of times what we find, if we're honest, and this is a hard part, is people get used to fixers. Let's be honest, let's be real. People sometimes get accustomed to the fixer. And if you keep running up there enough, then people will back up and let you fix their stuff, right? Oh, I know I am telling the truth, right? If you keep running to fix, people will let you, right? They will sit back and let you. That's why we talk about boundaries. We talk about why it's so important, not to not help people, but why it's so important for you to know the difference, right? People will sit back and let you do and do and do and fix and fix and fix and come to their rescue millions and millions of times, and they never stop to take care of their own stuff. And so it's very important for you to be able to step back so that you can see that, so that you can recognize that, and so that you can create boundaries for yourself that's going to allow that relationship to be healthy, to be healthy, let's face it. And by doing so, this empowers them to be able to help themselves. Listen, the next one says you must honor others' personal growth, right? God created us all with a purpose and a plan for our lives, right? He created us all that way. He gave us the opportunity to have free will and the capacity to make decisions and choices in our lives. Each person has that. So what happens with the fixer is when we as a fixer, I'm just going to say it like this. When we as a fixer, when you keep running, when you keep fixing, when you keep throwing yourself in that role, right? When you keep running to the rescue, then that other person, they don't get to see how to fix things themselves. When you keep sticking your hand in it and when you keep filling the void, right? The other person, they don't get to see, oh, that there's a void there that needs to be filled in their own lives, right? Right? When you keep running to the rescue, they don't see that they have something to do in their own life, right? That they don't see that this is something, an area where they too have to grow, right? Let's look at yourself, right? How did you grow, right? How did you learn, right, that there was a void in your life? How did you learn that, right? Did somebody point it out to you, right? Were you going through life, and then all of a sudden there was a oops, there was a bump, there was a trip, and a stumble, and that's how you saw, right, that there was something that needed to be fixed, right? What happened when you ran into that roadblock, right? When you ran and encountered that stumbling block for yourself, what happened? What happened when you kept trying but you fell short and you kept bumping your head but you walked away with a knot? What happened? Did you learn, right? Did you grow? Did you learn how to do something different? Yeah, sometimes that's what happens. We learn, right? We learn through the mistakes that we make in life, right? When we fall, right, we learn and prayerfully we're able to get back up and dust off our knees and try that thing again, right? But if we don't go through it, then we don't learn. If we have someone that's constantly coming to the rescue, then we don't value that process that we have to go through in order to learn, right? If I'm constantly running to the rescue of my child, right? And I'm constantly scooping her up every time it looks like that she's going to fall and hurt herself, if I'm constantly running to her rescue and scooping her up so that she doesn't fall and scrape her knee, then she never learns how important it is for her to watch where she's going, right? She doesn't learn that. And so inevitably, I become the one that hinders her growth. I hope you heard it. I hope you heard it. Inevitably, if I keep running to the rescue as a fixer, then the very thing that I'm running to try to do to help somebody can turn around and become a hindrance to their own personal growth. Okay? While it may be tempting to bear the burdens of others, you must respect their path and allow them the opportunity to learn, to make mistakes, to grow, and to mature. Galatians 6 and 5 reminds us that each person must bear their own load. Instead of trying to fix someone else, you can offer support for them through prayer and having genuine empathy. We have to trust in God's ability to help them and release your desire to control the situation. That's it. That's it. We have to trust God's sovereignty and His ability to fix that situation. God's word says that I will perfect the thing that concerns you. And so that person they have to put their trust in God's ability to perfect the very things that they're going through, the very issues and problems, right, that they find themselves dealing with. They have to go to God with that. And so do you. And so do you. And so do you. All right. And that just leads us right into number 5 in honoring God's sovereignty. Remember, we are not God. We are not God, right? We are not God. And even though we feel compelled to want to intervene, we have to surrender that person and their situation to God, trusting in Him to do the work, right? Because He can do the work that will make a change for a lifetime, far greater than what we could ever do, right? God's ability to help in a situation, God's ability to fix someone, God's ability to fill the void, right? Only He can do that, right? And He can do it far greater than we ever can. One of these things that I come across in talking with other people is I encounter people that have this savior complex real bad, right? I've also heard it termed the Messiah complex really bad, right? Where people are jumping in the way, right? And saving and running to the rescue to snatch up, to heal, to deliver, right? To keep people from stumbling and falling, right? But honestly, we can't do it. We cannot do it alone, right? And God's ability to help, to fix, to save, to deliver, right, is far, far greater than anything that we could ever do, right? We have to surrender. We have to surrender that person, their issues, their stuff. We have to surrender that to God and trust that He is sovereign and that He alone can do it. Right? He don't need your help. He don't need your help. Take your hand out the way. Remove yourself. Step back. Take the position of prayer, right? Pray, right? Intercede and surrender that person to the Almighty Father and trust that He is able to do it, right? His plans are always good, even when we can't see it, right? Even when we can't see it. Think about how you care about the person so bad. You care about them so bad that you want to rescue them from their hurt. You want to rescue them from their pain. We have to remember that God loves them even more than we do. I want to run. I want to fix my daughter's issues, right? I love my daughter, right? I love her so much. And I don't want her to have to go through the things that I went through in life, right? And even though there are some times my daughter is she's a good girl. She's very wise and she really makes good decisions. But there are some things that she decides to do that I may not agree with, right? Or there are things that I may want her to do that she's slow poking with doing. But I have to surrender that. I have to release my desire to want to jump in and fix it for her. Right? I have to release that to God, right? And in the meantime, I have to step back and I have to pray. And I have to pray and trust in God's ability to turn her heart. Trust in God's ability to direct her path. Trust in God's ability to order her steps. And then trust in her to be able to surrender her issues and decision making to God. Right? Right. Right. As humans, we do have limitations. We cannot change someone else. We can't change them. We can't change the outcome of their situations. We can only focus on what we can do, right? And I'm here to tell you that our God is greater, right? Our God can do more, right? Our God, He can love more. Our God can fix more, right? Greater than we ever can, right? Exodus 14:4 says, "The Lord will fight for you. You only need to be still." Yes, that's good. Some of us are in the midst of the stuff that we're dealing with or the stuff that our loved ones are dealing with, and we're in the midst of that thing. We're fighting that battle for them, right? We've told ourselves, I'm going to jump in there for my loved one and I'm going to help them and I'm going to fight that battle for them, right? But I'm here to let you know that that battle doesn't belong to you. It don't belong to you, right? It belongs to the Lord. And a lot of times we have to step back and assess what really truly belongs to us and what truly belongs to the Lord, right? We have to truly turn things over to him because there are many battles that we're out there running to jump in that he didn't call us to be a part of. That there are many battles. They're not even our own battles. These are battles that belong to other people that God didn't call us to fight. He called us to pray. He called us to intercede in prayer. But there are many battles that he did not tell us to go run in there and dive in there and fight. Right? He says, "Trust me. Stand still and watch the salvation of the Lord." He says, "I will fight your battles if you would only be still." Be still. Take your hands out of it and trust the Lord. By acknowledging your limitations and placing your trust in God, you invite his wisdom and his power to work in the lives of those people that you care so much about. We have to trust him. We have to trust him. In our journey as believers, it's essential to recognize and to respect the boundaries of our role in helping others. What would happen if we did not rush so quickly to fix other people's problems? What would happen if you asked a few questions instead of offering a quick fix solution? What would happen if instead of jumping to fix and to help, you took the time to listen as people shared their struggles? James 1 and 19 reminds us once again that we ought to be quick to listen and slow to speak. What can you do instead of trying to fix a person or their situation, right? What does the fixer do when the fixer can't fix? It's a question that I ask a lot in therapy and with my clients. And quite honestly, that's a question that I've had to ask myself. What can you do? What can the fixer do if the fixer can't fix? Right? Right? While you can't fix someone else, you can support and encourage them through prayer. You can offer a listening ear. And quite honestly, by learning to be an attentive listener, like I mentioned before, it allows you to create a safe space where that person can share what's on their heart, can share what they're going through, and can really find solace in being heard, right? Offering encouragement and understanding can really go a long way, and it actually can go further than jumping up and trying to render a possible solution, right? Trusting in God's sovereignty and understanding that change and growth are ultimately in his hands, and reassuring someone of that is important, and it can be helpful. It can be helpful to truly encourage someone and let them know, hey, God is in control, and he has even your situation in the palm of his hands. He loves you so much. He cares about you so much that he wants to take care of even this situation. Why don't you turn it over to him? Why don't you turn it over to him? Ultimately, each person is responsible for their own actions. And until they take ownership of what needs to be done to move forward in their lives, to make changes in their lives, to really grow in their lives, there's nothing that you can say or do that will affect that, right? There's nothing that until they make the choice, until they take action, until they surrender, right? that there's nothing that you could really do. There's nothing you can really do. So, whether you are a mother like myself, whether you are a spouse, whether you are a friend, whether you are a family member, whether you are a therapist, a counselor, whether you are a woman or someone who just desires to understand the struggles and the pain that your family members, your friends, your significant other are experiencing, learn to ask questions, learn to listen, learn to offer to pray with them, um, as opposed to being quick to jump in and fix the issues that they may be having. All right. I hope that you all were encouraged today. And listen, I hope that you all are still with me. I hope that you all have hung on. I'm excited. I'm excited. First of all, thank you so much. Thank you so much for hanging in with us for the part 2 of the FIXER episode. And once again, I'm going to encourage you all to give us a like, give us a thumbs up, to subscribe to our channel. Please help us to get our subscriber numbers up, and so that this episode and this platform and this podcast can get out there to the masses, right? So the algorithm can do what the algorithm does, and that other people will be able to see this video and also be blessed by it. So I definitely want to remind you to do that. All right. Now the news that I am so excited to share. I am excited to let you all know that this week I have released my new ebook. Yay! It is a long time coming, and actually, it is it is I will tell you later, right? It is an act of obedience, right? An act of obedience to do this. But the new ebook, it released this week, and it's entitled Set Me Free, Overcoming Anxiety and Fear. And so I do hope that if you guys are battling with or struggling with being able to manage anxiety, being able to manage fear, if you guys are experiencing that in your life and you want tips and strategies and information to help you to be able to not just manage, right? Not just reduce it, but to really overcome it, right? I am going to encourage you to get your copy of this ebook. Right? I am going to put the link to purchase in the description section below. And I am going to ask that you all would be in support of this channel, be in support of my practice, be in support of my ministry, and I appreciate you guys so much. So yeah, that's my spill. We are so excited. This is a move of God, and we give God all the glory. We give Him the honor, and we give Him the praise. We ask that if you have purchased your copy of this ebook, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Let us know. Give us feedback. Let us know in the comments, what you think about it, right? If it's truly blessed you. But I am grateful. I'm grateful for God to use me in this fashion. Trust me, this was an act of obedience. Like I said, I'll tell you about it in another episode. But yeah, I am excited about it. We are terribly excited about the move of God, and we believe that it will be a blessing to many. All right. Okay. Well, you all go forth, have a wonderful day, continue to have a wonderful week and weekend. And if the Most High God says the same, we'll see you all back next week for another episode of Lunchbreak Chronicles Podcast. Many blessings to you all. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. Shalom.